Hi friends, Jennifer here with Jen Open Hearts, and I'm joining you from an incredible spring day here in Michigan in my backyard, and just soaking up the sun and really feeling into the energy of the sun today has been such a blessing and such a beautiful reminder to be outside, to ground, to connect with the planet, and to absorb the sun. It's a life giver. So it actually leads me to this really beautiful card that I pulled from this deck that I have called the Sacred Cycles Guidebook. And this is a card that I pulled yesterday, and it's just the impetus, the reminder of my own personal life mission, this drive, this desire to share and to be seen and to show up. And I just thought it was so perfect to kind of preface this conversation. So I pulled this magical, beautiful little card of the sun, and I'm just going to read the description for you, for me, for the universe, for everyone and everything that needs to hear this. So, sun, I am the light. The sun is the earth's life force, providing nourishment, warmth, and light. It shines its spotlight down upon you, reminding you that the time has come to step to the center stage of your own life. This is a call for big, bold declarations and for giving voice to your heart's desires. You are being infused with the courage necessary to speak and draw others' attention towards you. You have a message to share, and with light shining upon you, it is your time to share your truth and your gifts with the world. Any fears that arise around this can be witnessed with love and grace, understanding that your anxious mind only wants to keep you safe. Give it just a moment of your time, and then remind it that you are ready to be known for all your glory. You have a sacred calling, and nothing will stop you from stepping forward and living it. And then it has a sweet little journal prompt: what in my life wants to be illuminated? So I wanted to share that today as someone who is on this path of really feeling this call to connect and to share and to just have this beautiful space, this container to get to know myself, to help you get to know yourself as well, and to just facilitate and hold space for a little bit more love in this current incarnation, in this space, in this time period that we're in. I feel that the world can use more people speaking about love, whatever that means. My husband and I actually came up with this really beautiful revelation while we were on a trip in the Smokies, and we said, we were like, all the problems in the world, all the things that have ever happened, all the insecurities, all the things, and like looking for the answer. And we were like, what if there was just one book, and the only book that was ever written, you're opening it, one page, and the page is the answer to your ailment, your problem, your predicament, and it just says love. Like just like talking about it makes my heart soften a little bit more. And it's just such a gracious reminder with this channel, with this kind of way of sharing with the world and connecting and sharing my story in hopes to help you honor your own. It always comes back to love. It comes back to self-love. And I feel something that I've been going through personally, and through this channel I will mostly be speaking from an anecdotal space, so from my own experience. I'm not saying it's the right experience, but it's the things that I know in my own heart to be true, at least from my perspective. But the thing that has kept me the most away from my own self-love have been the stories that I continue to tell myself. And a lot of these stories have been thought patterns of the past that continue to loop over and over and over and over again. And it's kind of preoccupying so much of my time and so much of my mental energy, of my life force, that it's kept me from really connecting to the great parts of me. I was so it's like that expression, like where attention goes, energy flows. Like all my energy was just focusing, this is the problem, this is the thing, these are the problems that I've been having, and I can't jump out of them. And it's just like this over fixating of these stories of my past. I was the victim. I was struggling with depression. I was comparing myself forever to people all the time and putting others on a pedestal and putting myself way down. And it's like all of those things. I've just like been processing a lot of this lately, so it feels very refreshing to express it. But all these stories, that we tell ourselves keep us out of the present moment. We all have our stories. We all have things that have happened to us or that we have created, however you want to look at it. But we're all in this. Like, we're all experiencing things. We've all gone through heartbreak. We've all gone through, illness. We've all gone through so many different traumatic things, or what we would label as trauma, or difficulties, or sadness, or this depressiveness that's happening. And it's like, those have happened and they are part of our stories, right? We can say, I am this, I am that, I was abused, I was this, I was an alcoholic, I was, really anxious and depressed, and all these different human experiences that we go through. And it's like, those are the looping patterns. Oh, this happened, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts. Why did they do this? Why did they say this? Why did I say this? And it's like, I can speak about it so well because I know it so well. And, it took me, it's still in the process. I'm not going to speak from a place of someone who has figured it out, but I'm definitely on that path. And it's all about just recognizing it first. Like, why am I not becoming who I want to be? And it's because I'm stuck or I'm trapped in these stories that I keep telling myself. And so that's the beautiful thing, is like using this gift and this tool of awareness, this body, this being in the body, to really recognize and to see ourselves as we are, knowing who we are currently and who do we want to be. And so who I was in the past was ruminating on these problems and these things that I just couldn't shake off. It's like, you're kind of almost building a box for yourself. Like, you're saying, I am this, I'm stuck in this way, I am a victim, I had this happen. And I come back to victim a lot because that's definitely the mentality that I have ruminated in the most. It's probably where I have ingrained the most thought patterns, like, oh, this happened to me and this was so sad and poor me, all this stuff. And it's like, yes, it did happen. Yes, it was difficult. I'm not denying my emotions or my experience, but I also can make a conscious choice to jump out of that. So it's like, do I choose the path of depressive thought patterns, or do I choose the thought of like, wow, I became stronger, I became more resilient, I became more grateful because X event happened to me, and because of this event I had learned a lesson, and I can lift a voice, or I can have more compassion for myself. Like my husband and I always say, what's the lesson? What's the lesson behind this difficult event? And it's not always to see that as soon as it's happening. Like when we get to that point, it's like, oh, that was nice. I saw the lesson as soon as it was happening. But, it's not always easy to do that. So it's like taking that generous pause and then allowing yourself to reflect. And sometimes that pause can be like 10 years or something like that. Like, oh shit, 10 years later, I'm just now realizing this wasn't right, or, this is how I feel about it, and I'm processing it, and I'm going through it. I recognize it, I identify it. This was my story, and I've been looping that story. So it's like, it's just that beautiful state of awareness that you can kind of jump into, that river, that flow. It's like, are we going to be in the river with all the obstacles and hurdles? Or are we going to just like move some of those out of the way so we can just allow our energy to be what it's meant to be in this lifetime? And I think that's the greatest gift of them all. So my prompt for you is like, where are you not allowing yourself to shine? Or what are the obstacles that are limiting you from shining to your fullest expression? What are the stories that you are telling yourself to keep you small? And this has come up a lot in our cacao circle with Floricera community, but it's like this idea of like, you're the crab in the shell and you're just outgrowing it, and the shell is too small, and you're like, oh, I need it to burst open or to break. And it's like, what is keeping me small? And that's been this revelatory springtime of 2023, is like, I've always known that I played this story in the back of my mind, but I'm gonna make sure my camera's still running. Oh, it is. Okay. I'm trying to use my Apple Watch and be like super techie. But yeah, it was just like a beautiful reflection to have and to consider, is like, where am I playing small? And it's like, I realized that I was the one stopping myself from becoming who I want to be. And it's like that idea that we're kind of in charge of our own reality. We choose how we respond to the world. We choose whether or not we want to react or respond, and how are we going to take like the higher ground in all situations, and as many situations as possible. And it's the biggest and most beautiful lesson I can think of, and I just feel so grateful to learn this in my lifetime, and hopefully to carry that forward, in my life path and through every interaction that I have. And so this notion of like, if we're putting so much energy in the past, we're creating all this depression, right? We're thinking about the past, we're stuck, we're looping. I'm the victim, I'm sad, this happened, someone got hurt, blah, 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 whatever it may be. All these things, all these stories, all these labels, all the things that are like keeping us so small. It's like we're focusing so much attention there, and we're not even giving anything to the present moment. So it's like, it's such a beautiful revelation, and that's why I'm so grateful to receive the Sun card and to just kind of have this personal reawakening of my spirit, to come back to the message and the things that I desire to share in this lifetime, and that give me a lot of joy. As many of you know who are following me on social media, I love human design. I give readings, and I'm an ego manifester, a 5/1 profile, and I'm all about the throat, activating the throat, speaking my heart's desires through my throat, and just hearing and learning through my own vessel and my own experience and my own exchange. And it just feels like such a nurturing, healing thing to work and strive to add more love and more value into people's lives, because I really feel like the path to life is truly all about love, and that when we're able to offer ourselves love, that something beautiful can happen in our external reality. And so I've been making a really conscious effort for some time, but mostly this week, I've been, partaking in the ceremonial cacao experiences and on my own personal journey, but also in a community. And it's always coming back to love. Like, how can I be present with myself? How can I speak kinder words inside of my mind, in my mind's eye? How can I even use, the beauty around me to remind me of my own beauty, inside and outside? So it's like, it's just so obvious and so easy, but it's not. And it's a daily commitment. It's like when we're in the gym or we're working out, we don't just show up one day and we're like, wow, like I'm working out, I'm growing muscle, or my muscles are getting toned, I'm losing fat, whatever it may be. It's like you got to show up daily. And it's like, if we want things to happen, we have to realize like those small little nuggets, those sweet little moments that we give ourselves are like an accumulative experience. And as we add more commitment, right, consistency, the medicine is in consistency. As we commit to that consistency, we are allowing ourselves to grow. And we might not see it right away, but we can feel it. We might in our own bodies feel it, but we can, like, at a soul level, we feel it. And it's just really such a beautiful practice to realize, who am I being in this present moment? Am I cultivating space and time for myself to watch my thoughts, to notice, what am I saying to myself? How am I viewing the world? Which glasses do I have on today? What am I seeing? Am I seeing the half-empty cup? Am I seeing the full cup? Am I seeing abundance? Am I seeing beauty? Am I judging? Am I harming others with my words? And there's so many avenues to it all, but I really think that the best place to start is inward and with ourselves. And it's like, step one, watch the thoughts. What do I say? What do I think? How do I feel? And knowing that we can just shine a light on it. We can allow ourselves to experience that, and then we can simply let it go. We can breathe into it. We can observe, anxiety is in my heart. I'm feeling depressed because I'm thinking about my past. What did I learn from that past experience? Why is it stopping me? Who do I want to be? What are the adjectives that I would use to describe this next phase, this Jennifer 2.0, this, insert name here 2.0? It's like we live in a world where there's rhythms of nature, and every day is inviting us to begin again, right? We can use the metaphor of the sun. The sun is rising, the sun is traveling, the sun is setting. Through that decomposing of the old self, we can say, wow, this has been my story. Okay, good to know. I'm healing, I'm working on it. I learned X lesson, put it to the side. And then who do I want to be when I wake up tomorrow? And some of us, we require journaling. We need to write about it. I want to be flexible in body and mind. I want to be loving as often as I'm able. I want to see the world through the lens of beauty and hope and love. And that's how I'm going to wake up tomorrow. I'm going to do X, Y, Z that help fill my cup so I can actually do those things tomorrow. It gets a little esoteric, but I think there's a beauty in it all. And if you're listening, I'm sure you understand, but it's like our lives are a accumulation of what we do. And if we want to feel a certain way, what are the things that we need to prune, we need to get rid of, to let go of, to allow ourselves to really exist in our own growth? We each have our own patterns of growth, and where they are, this other person, he, she, them, whoever, wherever they're at, it's their own path. And so it's really helpful when we let go, two robins fighting, when we let go of patterns like that, because then we allow ourselves to prune and then bringing forth new growth. Like this morning, I actually pruned some of our blackberries and gooseberries and all sorts of things. And it's just, life is one big funky metaphor. It's like we're pruning, we're cutting, we're allowing growth. And it's like nature is such a prime teacher, because she's always teaching us how to release, how to let go, how to grow, how to be okay with the cycles of life, how to love. There's a quote that I love that's like, beautiful things don't ask for attention, they just are, and it's like this notion of like, there is beauty inside of me, and it's always inside of me. And I'm not just talking about superficial beauty, but this notion of like carrying the spirit or the essence of beauty and of love, and trusting that it's always in there. But to find it, we got to prune away what isn't working. Let me cut that. Like in the Mayan calendar, we study this a little bit in our virtual cacao circles with Flora Sarah, but there's the energy of Tihash, which is the obsidian blade. So it's like this surgical approach to either fixing something, it's like the healer, or it's like the cutting away, like the warrior. So it's like, how can we let go of things, and how can we reduce the clutter, and the clutter can be physical, or it can be actual, how we feel about ourselves. It can be our thoughts. Like, what's the clutter? Let me get rid of that clutter. And for me, it's really been doing a lot of introspective experiences with myself through journaling and meditation, but also just getting rid of stuff. Like, what is not me anymore? Like, where do I need to decompose? What can I get rid of? What corners of the house can I clean? And it's a lifelong journey. It's a seasonal journey. It's a daily journey. It's something that we get to do over and over again until suddenly we don't. And I want to make the most of it while I'm here. And so I just wanted to make this video today to give myself the space and time to speak and to share, because that's what my heart has been aching to do. And I feel like this is the best avenue for that. And so my mission and my goal is to really show up through this container of love, through this container of self-acceptance. We're all at different points in our journey, but just knowing that, again, you're not alone, and that the path to love can be achieved through small acts of kindness, through small acts of love, through small acts of presence with oneself. And I'll leave you just with another thought, and it's this community that I'm a part of called To Be Magnetic, and it's all about this self-hypnosis. And they sent out this text just yesterday, and they said, what are some things, they said 50, there's a lot, 50 things that bring you joy that are free. And I thought, this is going to be hard. So I made it to 20, I think, and there was some repetition, and then I really thought about it. I sat with myself, I closed my eyes, and I was like, wow, there's so many things that I could do that are free, that show myself I love myself, that bring me joy. And this was actually one of them. I really earnestly love speaking. I love learning about self-love. I love learning through hearing myself talk. I love sharing, and I know that the right people will receive this message. Other things that came up were like simple things like texting my mom or letting someone know how I feel about them, or thanking my husband for something, or thanking the land, or giving myself like a hand massage, or doing yoga, or oiling my hair, or whatever it was, like some personal body self-care stuff. And it was just like a really nice reminder of like, wow, like every little thing, when it's done with intention, it's like the magic behind the action, So it's just really beautiful that we have that will, that we're able to connect with the things that do bring us joy, and that they don't always have to give us that dopamine rush or that hit of like, ooh, I just bought something, this feels good, I'm excited to wear it, I'm excited to eat it, drink it, etc. Like, that's all fun too, and it's great to have those, but it really helps you to consider, what are the things that I can give myself that don't cost a thing, And I know that's like, it's so close, like, okay, I got to buy the oil to do the hair, like oil thing, and for the face, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, it does cost some of it, but not all of it. Like, I'm sitting in my yard, my body is on the earth, I'm on my blanket that I love, I have my favorite cup of, well, it's coffee today because sometimes you need it, but I have this cup that I just love, and there's peace in these very small exchanges, or even like I show myself love through pulling a card and just being curious, like, what is the prompt going to be today? Where can I shine a light inside myself? So the access to love is all around us, and to me that's really exciting, and it's something that I want to continue to connect with on this path of learning how to love myself better, so I can show up and love everyone and everything around me with a little bit more honesty and integrity and joy and virtue, and all these things that are just so important, especially in this time where there's a lot of shifts happening, there's a lot of friction, there's a lot of it's a lot. We're going through a lot collectively, and it's just important for us to come back to ourselves, to come back to our bodies, to honor and nourish ourselves and our cells, right? All these beautiful cells that make us up, and to limit the noise, because there is a lot of noise out there, and sometimes it can be too much, and we have to know what is a good, safe boundary for us. And that starts with a daily practice, the things that really lift us, because when we are lifted and when we create that positive exchange, we're going to bring something new to the table, and that's going to show up in every interaction, and that's what gets me excited. I was definitely struggling with a bit of a depression throughout the winter, and so I was also going through a lot of healing and feeling very energetically sensitive. But the process of healing is very vulnerable, right? We have to become soft. This came up in Circle 2. It was a conversation, quote from Gabor Mate, but he was talking about vulnerability and being soft. And it's like spring is happening and the growth is happening in those very soft parts of the plant, the new growth and things like that. So it's like I was in this very healing cocoon of self, of introspection, and really using the winter, the seasonal aspect of going inward and really going inward. And now I feel like I'm just like this baby flower that's like, I'm ready. I just want to show up. I want to be present, and I want to do the best I can in this lifetime. And it's been such a beautiful journey. Like even today, I really made some strong efforts to take care of myself through connecting with cacao, and then also having a nice yoga and mobility routine, and then planting some sunflowers and all these different things. But it's like everything we do, again, is that culmination of who we are. You are what you do in a day, and so what are we going to do today, every day? And I'm going to leave you with that. Hopefully that brought you some introspective insights, some things to think about, some different ways to see yourself on the path, and to know and trust in the wisdom and the joy and the beauty of love to remind you to show up where you need to, coming back to that beautiful sun card, but just knowing that your presence does make a difference. You do make a difference, and that every day is another opportunity to get a little bit closer to who you are striving to be and to accept yourself along the path. So Let me know what you think. If you have any thoughts, any comments, any questions, I hope to continue showing up because it's important to me and I feel it's important to the world. So have a good one, and thank you so much. Wishing you so much love from me, Jennifer, from Jen Open Hearts. If you're interested in any human design readings or anything like that, check out my website, jenopenhearts.com, and I'll see you soon.